Hey there, I'm Chris. We've got Eli here. We're from Landlord Gurus, and today we are going to talk about listing your rental. So, during the life cycle of your rental unit, you will have tenants moving out, and then at that point, it's time to fill that vacancy again. The question we always get is, where should I list my rental? And there's a lot of options out there, a lot of platforms. I'm sure most people have heard of Zillow, Craigslist, Facebook, all kinds of places where you can list it. Where's the best place to list that make it easiest for you to find a new tenant? And I guess a lot of it depends on where you are and where your apartment's located. But yeah, let's just start with you, Eli. What do you think? Where do you list your rentals?
Yeah, thanks, Chris. I currently list through a property management software platform called Avail, and that syndicates, and that's a word you'll see a lot with all these different platforms, to a bunch of different sites. So which means that you put it on Avail and then it auto-populates your ad onto all these other sites. So among the sites that Avail does it does the Zillow network, Zillow, HotPads, Trulia. It does apartments.com, apartments list, realtor.com, Zumper, and PadMapper. I think those are all the major ones. So I put an ad up and it goes to all those places.
So you don't have to make a separate listing for Avail or a separate listing for Zillow, and then a separate listing for HotPads and a separate listing for apartments.com or anything. You just create one listing and it goes everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't have to go and do anything on any of those other sites. I set it all up on Avail. And, frankly, I wouldn't do it any other way. There are lots of platforms like Avail that you can do this on, which we write about, many of them. And I would always choose a platform that has a wide syndication. So the only difference for me is that I'll have to backtrack. I don't actually syndicate to the Zillow network, because it's a whole process of setting yourself up on Zillow, paying them, so that when you post on through Avail, as I do, that it goes to Zillow. So Zillow is the platform currently that is charging for their listings. And so I go directly to Zillow, create that same ad, pay them what they're currently charging is $29 for 90 days flat fee. So I do manage those two. And once you've published on Zillow, its sites are also HotPads and Trulia, and that automatically gets spread over those three. So right. That's my main way of marketing at this point.
Got it. What about Craigslist? So I've always historically, and I still do, I do post on Craigslist, and I know that a lot of people say that Craigslist isn't the most reliable, but I do find that, at least in this area where we are in Seattle, that I get a decent amount of success posting on Craigslist. And it's for me, it's pretty simple. It's a simple posting process. You upload some photos and add your headline and text and location, and it all gets up there pretty well. I think there's sometimes a little bit of a delay in terms of when it gets up there and when you see your ad. And I know that it sort of expires after 7 days, and you have to kind of keep renewing that listing. But yeah, I mean, I still post there. I don't always get my tenants from Craigslist, but I know that every time I at least get several inquiries, and they seem to be legitimate inquiries, people who are actually interested.
Yeah.
Whereas I also post on Zillow. I actually haven't been paying that 90-day listing. I know that they just started doing that again in May. Before, when it was the $9.95 or $9.99
per week.
I would do that because I knew that if I found a tenant within a week, that was not a big deal. But since they moved back to this $30 for 90 days, I haven't been paying for that, and I've just been listing it for free, and I've been getting decent traction. And this has always been the case with Zillow for me, is I get a lot of inquiries. People say, I want to apply. I want, send me an application. I want to move right now.
Yeah.
And, I send a response, and I typically will want to pre-screen before, I start letting people apply.
Yeah.
So, I'll respond and ask some questions, and then I don't hear anything back. Or,
Yeah.
I offer to schedule a showing, and I don't hear anything back. And so we've talked about this before, that we call them tire kickers, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had the
Zillow
same
makes it easy
experience.
for people to just, ask for an application right off the bat. And
They can
my
literally just,
philosophy is I want to talk to them and I want to meet them.
yeah, they don't even have to type anything. They can click the, send me an application, option, and that gets sent to us and who knows how many other people. So I have that same frustration. I do get good leads through Zillow. It's probably where I get most of my leads at this point. And although I do get a fair number from Zumper and PadMapper, those seem to be the three that work best. And I don't turn on let's see, well, I hide my phone number for sure. Made that mistake before. And I don't like getting phone calls. And I don't allow applicants or renters to apply directly, automatically, because especially in Seattle, then I've got an application in hand. And this is one of the places where I'm legally bound to screen that application first. And so I don't get the chance to ask the three questions, right off the bat, which often just that scares people off too. Do you smoke? Do you have pets? And do you make at least 2.5 times the monthly rent before your big obligations? So,
and I think that's a really good point. I think that's a good strategy to pre-screen before you even get involved in showing the listing. I think it saves, not only it saves you time, it saves the landlord time, but it also saves the tenant time from having to come schedule an appointment, come out and visit, walk through. And if they're not going to qualify, or it's not what they're looking for right off the bat, then it's just, it's sort of a waste of time for everybody. So I think that's good practice to pre-screen ahead of time.
Doesn't take much to kind of vet whether or not somebody is willing to make some effort, or just want something to, they want to apply remotely, maybe to different places, and then, see what pops up. So, so those pre-screening questions, they're also important because if, I don't take pets, I don't take smokers, and I have an income requirement. And a lot of times, even if it's in the ad, people ignore those things. So, to ask the questions directly makes sense for me. So, but back to your question about Craigslist, I haven't been advertising on Craigslist for the last little while. Frankly, the pandemic, for me, I've had very little turnover. So, full disclosure, I'm a little rusty on it. But I do find that there are a lot of people that are moving to these other platforms that are a little more slick. That being said, it's really about time management for me. I know I can do pretty well on with Avail and all their that network and Zillow. So I just haven't been doing it. The interface is good on Craigslist. You've got the same. You can
pretty simple, yeah.
Yeah, you can arrange showings. You got all your photos. You've got location, amenities. Really, they've pretty much got it all.
Right.
But
with scheduling showings, though, I know that Avail and other software platforms like that allow you to, and maybe even Zillow does it as well, but you can schedule showings directly through the platform. I don't think you can do that on Craigslist, but you can do that through Avail, where you kind of list off the time periods where you're available to show, and someone can book straight off.
Yeah, that's true. Craigslist, though, you can set showing times.
True. Yeah,
I believe. And that doesn't mean that the renter can reserve one, but it tells them when you're going to be showing it, so that in the communication, maybe they say right off the bat, hey, how about I come to that Saturday afternoon showing? Right. So yeah, you're right. It's not quite as automated as that. I know you've had mixed experiences with those scheduling tools, right? Where you allow people to schedule your time.
Yeah. And I mean, it seems like a good feature that, just to offer it up, especially if you know that you're free, and maybe, you're going to be there for a particular time, and then you can allow people to just book a 20-minute slot. But yeah, my experience in the past has been, I'll just sort of reserve the whole day, and then you get one who schedules one in the morning and one who schedules one at the very end of the day.
Yeah, no,
and go back twice. So it doesn't always work out as nicely as you might hope, but yeah, I mean, I think it's a good tool when you kind of can dial it in, make it fit in your schedule pretty well. I also get a lot of no-shows when someone, again, going back to the whole, people, tire kickers. If you make it easy for people to schedule an appointment, they will pretty easily just schedule an appointment, and then they don't show up.
Yeah,
that's what I struggle with the most is, and I put that in my criteria is show up for appointments.
Yeah,
if you don't, you are not qualified. So, yeah, I mean, that's sort of something that I don't enjoy having to deal with no-shows.
Yeah, I think you can eliminate some of that with just that little bit of interaction up front. That if you ask somebody those pre-screening questions, or, I think niceties are really important. Every message I send said, thanks for your interest in the apartment. I'd look forward to meeting you. And here are my pre-screening questions. Let me know what else you'd like to know. Once people have gone through that process with you, I think they're more likely to show up. And that's one of the things I don't like about about all this automation, though I love it in general. It saves me a ton of time, but I do still try to make a personal connection. I always meet my renters. I never do anything remotely, although I did do a Zoom. I have done a Zoom meeting before during the pandemic, and that worked fine. So, yeah.
And have you used any touring software where you can kind of offer a 3D tour where they can show it, or you kind of do that through your Zoom meeting?
That's on my to-do list, is to get that dialed. Avail doesn't currently support that. And I think it'll be a mixed bag out there. That's my perception about which sites do. So I haven't gotten to that yet. I've done Zoom tours, but not kind of set up. I think it's a great idea. I think it can save everybody time, as all of these things do. All these software products that we talk so much about do. That's another step where nobody may have to ever have any back and forth, if they can see it first and just know whether or not they're really interested.
Yep.
So, but you haven't either.
I haven't used any of the touring software. I've done similar to you, where I've done a Zoom tour where I've met the person on Zoom and walked through the unit while we're on Zoom. Yeah. And I think that works okay. I don't know what the experience is like for the tenants. I can't imagine it gives them a great, as good of a tour as if they were there in person.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, it saves everybody a little bit of time in terms of, or at least saves the tenant a little bit of time in terms of, not having to come view it. And I think particularly during the pandemic,
I get a lot of people who are relocating here. So it's difficult for those renters to fit into a time slot, a viewing slot that I set aside. And again, I'm selfish with my time. I like to show an apartment for a block of time, an hour and a half at a time, for as few times as I possibly can. Right. So no, I don't schedule showings all over the place. And so a video or a video tour, a Zoom or FaceTime tour, can help people know whether or not, they're interested, whether or not we should make an additional effort to try to get that person in. If it's still available.
Any other platforms that you've used before? I've done apartments.com, and I think I still do list on apartments.com when I put it up there, and I've gotten tenants from there in the past, but it feels sort of a hit or miss. Sometimes I get several inquiries. This last time, I think maybe I got one inquiry from apartments.com. So it doesn't feel like it's consistent, but we've written about this before, where I have struggled a little bit with the interface and how to get the listing how I like it. And I do know that they offer priority, paid options if you want to be listed above everybody else, but it's expensive.
Yeah.
And so I've never done that. I think it's very expensive. So
yeah, I want to say $300 or $400 for one of the big top listings,
right.
and then they scale down like this, to reduce prices, but the minimum price is pretty high still.
So. Yeah. So I haven't done that. I've only listed just for free, and maybe that's the result is that I don't get my listing to the top of many people's searches. And to this point, I guess I feel like I haven't had to with the other alternatives out there.
Right. Yeah, I don't. No, I haven't really used it directly. I assume my listings are going there because that's one of the places that Avail syndicates to. And Avail does tell you where there's been a successful syndication. So, I haven't seen an X there that I know of, but I have gone to look at apartments.com to see whether my listing is there a couple of times, and it's been there, but on occasion it's been hard to find. And what I've found there is that if you're shopping on the map instead of by a search where you're seeing the listings, the map will show all of the listings whether they're paid or not. I don't think that there's any differentiation there, but you also sometimes have to zoom in pretty far. And aside from shopping in that way, I think that you're at a disadvantage on apartments.com unless you're paying. So, and I'm just not willing to do that. I don't even like paying Zillow the $30. That was a culture shock. So, but I used to use Cozy, which was purchased by the parent company of apartments.com, and then they just collapsed Cozy and brought those features over. So when that happened, I went to Avail at that point.
And now with Avail, I guess one of the handy features with Avail is once you list there, and if you find a tenant through there, that property's information is already in their system, and it makes it really easy for the next steps for creating a lease, for collecting rent, for all of that, right? Is that kind of why you've sort of scaled everything into Avail at this point?
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I said earlier that I wouldn't do it any other way, because I love the streamline nature of the full featured property management software model, where I create the listing, which will also be, I can just turn back on the next time I have a vacancy in that unit again. It just pops back up again. But I'll create a listing. From there, if somebody's interested, I send them a link to do the screening report. They pay for it. I don't have to take any application fees. I get it immediately. I don't have to have my office inspected or anything like that because I'm not holding anything here. And then I can go on to create a lease. They do leases for all 50 states, customized laws that are reviewed by lawyers once a year, I think. And then they can go, if I accept them and I've created a lease, they can go on to collect rent. I can go on to collect rent electronically. So there's far fewer trips to the property with the tenant. There's no scanning, everything's electronic. So it's a lifesaver to me. I am a believer. Avail is not the only one out there, and we spend a lot of our time evaluating all these different products. But I would never go back to a non-software way of being.
One of the advantages of listing your property using one of these software products.
Yeah, for sure.
Full integration.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I guess from the sounds of it, and my attitude has always been, well, if I had to choose one place to list my rental, I guess I would. My choice would be all of them.
Yeah.
And I think that just getting your property in front of as many eyeballs as you can makes sense, even if that means putting it on Craigslist, putting it on Zillow, putting it on Avail, because you just never know what the next hot listing site is, or where the tenants are looking. They seem to come from everywhere, and like I said, sometimes it's apartments.com, sometimes it's Craigslist, sometimes it's Zillow.
Yeah, they're all over the place. It's true. Yeah. Everywhere is the answer. And Zillow is, I could do a lot of what I do on Zillow. It's not quite as robust as Avail and some of the others in terms of the other features, but I absolutely will advertise there, and I don't see that changing. So I just like that I get a lot extra doing it elsewhere.
That's a good point. All right. Well, I think that's probably, we'll wrap up our talk about where to list your rental here. And yeah, come back and join us again for another topic, Landlord Gurus. And always, you can go to our website, landlordgurus.com, take a read, take a look around for any other topics that you might find interesting regarding your landlord duties.
Yep. And feel free to send us a message there as well.
Thanks for watching. We hope this was helpful and love to hear your feedback in the comments section below. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this.